Hey y'all, this is the Love and Hip Hop ATL review, season 3, episode 2. So let's start off, shall we? Okay, it first starts off with Joseline walking through their big mansion, begging Stevie to, she's begging Stevie to work on to get started on this wedding. Well, she ain't really begging him. She's threatening him basically. He's telling her, just give me some time. I got something I need to deal with Mimi. And she's like, don't mention that bitch in my house, okay? Stevie, I don't want to hear about that bitch in my house. And so Stevie's like, no, I gotta show you something, and he pulls up his his laptop, and he's on media takeout, and it's pictures of Mimi and Nikko, pictures of the sex tape. So they end up, basically he's telling Joseline she's got to wait until he handled this situation with Mimi, which could mean a long time, because if he get lawyers and shit in it, it's gonna be a while. So they introduce Karlie Red. She's never on the first episode. Karlie Red is now with young Joc, and he's at her little acting. They shooting a scene for acting. I could tell as soon as it came on was acting because it was like really bad. So then she's asking him about where he been or whatever. And then she asked him, I think we should move in together. And he's like, oh, that's your way of keeping tabs on me? And then she's like, yeah, I love you. And it's like, come on, Karlie, now. If you can't trust him, then why do you think moving in gonna make it any better? I don't know. I just think that was some stupid shit. So then they go into Scrappy. Scrappy tells Mama D, Bam's messed up. Bambi is, going off on him just about every day because she asking him about these eggs, where these eggs at. And then he like, you gotta chill out. That shit wasn't funny. And then she was like, well, you do have other options. And he like, yeah, but it's all I need is Bambi. And I'm gonna messing with your situation. And I'm gonna tell you like this, you pull that shit again, it's gonna be war. So I have never heard a son threaten his mama that if she don't stay out his business, he gonna fuck up her relationship. I think this shit is funny. I can't wait to see him fuck up her relationship. I hope they catch all this shit on camera if she do, because, Mama D don't stop at all. She gonna keep on going. So, it's only a matter of time before she says something else to Bambi. Alright, let's move on. I'm just going through my notes, y'all. Okay, then the next scene is Mimi and Nikko packing for LA. Mimi said, I think she said that morning or something, she got a call from the biggest porn video, whatever. She got a damn call from Vivid that morning saying that they got the tape or whatever, and they need to discuss business in LA. So her and Nikko is packing, and she's pissed off, or at least she acting. She acting like she's pissed off and packing, and he's smiling. He's like, oh yeah, we need to make a lot of money off this, and he just say stupid shit like, why can't you just see, Mimi, that he's a damn opportunist? He done told you several times to your face. He don't care about you. It's all about the money. It's all about the opportunity and what he can get off of this. I was watching some interview he did with Vlad a couple of weeks ago. It was the interview he had did last year. And basically he was talking about, the whole Mimi situation was, they had a fling back before, and then they was out in somewhere in LA, and he got approached about doing this reality show as her love interest. So it's all opportunity. He said opportunity several times. He said, I felt as if this was going to be a great opportunity for me. So he's just clearly an opportunist. And he tells her that. And I don't know why she can't see that or why she's that stupid. I don't know if she really went on IN or Van Zant, but she needs to go there because she needs her life fixed seriously. But okay, let's go on. Scrappy meets up with Erica, his baby mama. You know, him and Erica is no longer together. He's not with Bambi. Erica's with somebody named O'Shea. And, you know, he asks Erica, is she in love? She says, I'm falling in love. And then she's like, well, have you moved on? He like, yeah, I'm good. She's like, okay, well, what about the text messages you've been sending me? And he like, what text? And then she's like, the text saying you waiting on me. You ain't still waiting on me. He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. You can tell he lying because he's sitting there laughing while he's saying it. And she was like, oh, you just sent me a text the other night. You just want to ignore that part? He was like, look, if you happy, you know, as long as Imani happy, then that's all good. So I'm glad that Scrappy wants to be a grown-up about the situation. And, you know, Erica get all happy, and she like, okay, you want to meet him? And he like, oh, no, that ain't never gonna happen. That ain't never gonna happen. He's like, let's Imani want me to meet him? I ain't gonna meet him. So, but, and I don't blame him because I wouldn't want to meet my exes, you know, current, you know. Thank God I ain't got no kids with nobody. But, yeah, I don't blame Scrappy on that. So then they go into Mimi and Nikko meeting up with the guy from Vivid. And Mimi's in the office putting on these fake-ass crocodile tears, talking about how, you know, she has a daughter and what this can mean for her daughter. And he's like, oh, well, that's okay. A lot of women do these movies. A lot of the women do these porns and these pornos, and they have kids, and you know that it's fine. You know, you can send them to college. And I knew he's gonna give us some bullshit about you can send your child to college with. It's just bullshit. He just you know, he pimping you out, really. And then he tells Mimi and Nikko, they asked him where did he get the tape from. He was like, oh no, that's a, what did he say? Basically, he can't tell them. I can't even think of the words, y'all. He can't tell them. It was like, okay, he signed a non-disclosure agreement. And, I'm like, yeah, that's because the person that did and gave it to you sitting right in front of you. But he's like, you know, you might as well, if you don't sign this and try to make money with me on it, the person that gave this tape to me is just going to go somewhere else and make some money on it. So I think it's best that you just sign this and make some money on it. But, you know, this is for y'all to decide on. I'm going to step out and give you some time. So then Mimi and Nikko's in there sitting, and she's sitting there like sad, and she's thinking about it or whatever. And then next thing you know, she signed a paper. It's like, come on now, you're not fooling nobody. If you really, y'all know better that if you're gonna sign something like that, especially where that's gonna mess up your life, you at least should have a lawyer there. These is really lies in hip-hop ATL. Because this is some straight bullshit that they feeding us. So, you know, she cries or whatever. And Nikko's like, you know, we're going to make a lot of money off of this, okay? It's going to be all fine. And that's all he's thinking about is the money and the exposure he's going to get off of it. And you can't tell me he had nothing to do with this tape being leaked. So I'm just gonna move on from there, but it's you know, the truth always come out sooner or later, and that truth gonna come out, and I know he got something to do with it. And you know what? She probably got something to do with it too. She ain't all this crocodile tears. I ain't falling for it. So then, you know, Karlie goes up to Magic City to catch Young Joc, and he tells her that he has some business to do in Magic City. And when she goes up there, she catches him doing body shots off of the stripper. And she's like, oh, this is the business you gotta do? And then he's like, look. And he goes sit down and talk to her. And then she's like, look, you come home and your man stink down there or smell like fish down there. And you messing with these bitches and all that kind of shit. He's laughing. And really, I can't take it serious either because I just saw another interview with with Young Joc a few weeks ago. And he was saying that, I got bitches, and they asked him what Karlie is. He's like, oh, Karlie my bottom bitch. He's like, but Karlie got bitches too. So really, it's just all put on the front. This is live hip hop, ATL, and it's just a good soap opera to watch. I used to be in this. I used to be like, well, maybe it's not scripted. I know it was edited. I know they get put in different situations to react, basically, but I really feel like they in on it. So, and then Joc tells her, oh, well, I just closed on the realtor called me and we moving in the house in 2 weeks. And she's all happy. She's like, really? Ah! She's all jumping on him and excited. And it's like, Karlie, sit your ass down. You just caught this man, looking at strippers, drinking off a stripper, and you talking about how he stinks. He smelled like he didn't just have sex or whatever. And you feel like just because you move somewhere with him that you're going to be able to tame him. And that's not the case. I don't know what is going through her mind, because just because he live in a house with you don't mean you're going to be able to keep tabs on him all the time, because men, married men, or whatever, men that live with their girl, they cheat all the time. Not all men, but some men do. And it ain't going to make a difference. If he want to cheat, he going to cheat. Alright, so Scrappy's with this young lady that he said used to be a video vixen or whatever. Used to, video girl. And her name is Erica P. And they're talking about how he's in a situation. And basically they sitting here flirting. And then she's like, oh, we just friends. And he's like, well, yeah, don't you think you should be friends first with the person? And she's like, well, yeah, we're friends. And it's just, come on now, Scrappy, can't you do right by one person? Or at least if you gonna do that, let them be in on it. Come on, you getting about 30 now. You got to stop all this bullshit. You getting too old for it. It's the same old thing over and over again. Grow up. But I do like Scrappy though, but who the hell, who puts themselves in these situations where they with somebody like Scrappy? Like, you know how he is. Bambi said herself that she knew that, he ain't the best for relationships. It's like, okay, then why would you be in a relationship with him? But I don't know what's up with these girls. So then they go on to Kirk, and earlier Kirk and Benzino was in the bike shop or whatever, looking for him a new bike, since his mother-in-law had ran over it. So he's talking about how him and his mother-in-law is getting into it, and how he he's still doubting if Carter is his. He knows in his heart that Rashida was cheating on him, and he was doing his thing, and everybody says that Carter looks like Rashida. It doesn't look like him. And so he wants to get the baby tested to see if it's his. So Benzino, I don't even know why he told him. He was like, well, you know they got the test or whatever up at the drugstore now. He like, oh, for real? And then, so this fool goes ahead and get the dang on fraternity test at the drugstore and swabs the baby and tell her, look, I don't want to do this to you, but your grandmother keeps saying that you ain't mine, and I want to see if you're mine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Kirk. But if you really, I guess if he really in his heart believed that Rashida cheated on him, then I guess that was the best thing for him to do. But I don't know if him going behind her back was the best thing. He should, I don't know, Kirk just do some stupid shit, and it kind of blows my mind because the first season it looked like they had a good thing. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to see happiness or whatever, and they might have said that they was a boring couple, but I was liking them that image they portrayed in the first season, and from there they just went completely left. So, still one. Stevie and Mimi meet up at some restaurant to talk about the sex tape. So Mimi knows where Stevie gonna go, and she know that he gonna go for the jugular. And she figure out, while she got the chance, she might as well fuck with him until, he gets to that part. So she starts asking him about, how did Joseline like the stripper pole, and I heard she stormed out of there. He's like, yeah, she didn't like it or whatever. And she just fucking with him, and it's so funny. Cause he really get mad. And then she said something to him, and he's like, oh, don't let me have my chick go after you. What you gonna do? Don't let me have my chick go after you. And it's like, come on now. Stevie, I thought you always loved Mimi. But I guess he just pissed. So then they go into the sex tape or whatever, and he started talking about how his daughter or whatever, that's how it's bad for his daughter, and she's an unfit parent for his daughter. And she's like, come on, Stevie, now all they gotta do is put your name in Google. All your kids gotta do is put your name in Google, and they gonna find your penis. And it's like, yeah, Stevie do have a sex tape, but Stevie has a real sex tape, okay? You can tell they did that shit themselves. He didn't, Mimi want to claim you used a tripod, but I've never seen a tripod that moves ups and down and follows you every move. There has to be a great tripod. I need to find me a tripod for that, for my cooking and my hair demonstrations. Because that would be a great tripod. I wouldn't have to do anything with the camera. But yeah, he tells her, I got the money, and I will put up all the money that it takes to get this lawyer and to get my daughter from you. And she gets pissed off, and she throws something at him. And, I actually, even though it's kind of hypocritical as Stevie, but I understand where he comes from, because she's not thinking clearly. She's with this fool that don't give a damn about her, and is just clearly taking advantage of her and the situation. But I understand. But hopefully Mimi can get it together before she ends up getting her daughter taken away. And Mimi's like, how do you think that your daughter is going to come live with you and they going to take her away from me when you live with a known prostitute? And I heard that Joseline was a prostitute. I'm not sure. We all know that she was a stripper. But, Stevie's not in the best situation. But when you got somebody with you that don't have good intentions at all, then your child don't need to be with that person, with you while you're with that person. until you get your mind right. So I do somewhat understand where Stevie was coming from. So then Stevie goes, meets up in Midtown and at the back of some gym or whatever, and tries to meet up with Nikko. And Nikko's like, Steve and Jordan, how you doing? He's like, what you doing here? He's like, I heard, why do you got my baby mama on some damn sex tape or whatever? She almost 50 years old. Don't nobody need to see that. It's like, damn, Stevie, when you just with her last year, how you just gonna try to play her like that? And he's clearly been around Joseline too long. That definitely sound like something Joseline would say. And then he's like, well, why you so worried? You don't need to. Nikko's like, you don't need to be worried about Mimi. And Stevie's like, I ain't worried about Mimi. I'm worried about my daughter. And he's like, oh, she's a beautiful woman. She's a beautiful little girl. You ain't got to be worried about her either. And he's like, no, if I find out and they trying to fight each other, why they trying to fight each other? Stevie run up, and it's like 4 security guards come out of nowhere. I guess they was prepared. They trying to break them up. For like a while, they steady trying to get at each other. This fool Nikko jumps over the gate. You know, Stevie tries to come at him. The security guard, as soon as he jumps over the gate, it's another security guard right there to get him back. So, yeah, I do hope that Stevie whipped Nikko ass because he deserved it. Because he in no way cares about Mimi. So, and matter of fact, I forgot to mention that Mimi earlier, she had met up with Karlie and Erica, and they told her about the situation at the birthday party and about the marriage certificate. And then she tells them that she signed a deal but not to tell anybody. She signed the deal with Vivid but not to tell anybody because, she didn't want it to get back to Stevie. So then, when Stevie and what's that fool name? Nikko meet up together, he's like, is you mad about the sex tape because you had a sex tape and you ain't getting no money off of it? Like, we about to come up. He's like, oh, you about to come up? He's like, yeah, we about to come up. He's like, oh, you about to get a couple hundred stacks for that? You go ahead and try to use that little money. He's like, yeah, but you was broke like 17 months ago. He's like, well, I'm rich now, bitch. They having the pettiest argument, but I hope Stevie whipped Nikko ass. I don't like Nikko at all. He is completely an opportunist. Sorry, y'all. Hair keep puffing that for Mimi. But yeah, he ends up telling him he got a deal, which Mimi does not. That's going to be on next episode. She going to be pissed off when she find out that Nikko told Stevie about the deal. But Lies in Hip Hop ATL was good. This was kind of a good episode. I can't wait to see the next episode. They're giving us what we want. A bunch of bullshit and lies to be told. Fairy tales and everything else. So, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at Jazz Chapman, JazChapman. And follow my cooking channel, Cooking with Jazz Chapman. And I will see y'all. Stay tuned for the next video.